5 reasons that you should quit real estate, but maybe shouldn't. My name's Liz, and I sell real estate in Richmond, Virginia. And I want to talk through with you the reasons most people quit real estate and maybe why you should reconsider. Now, if you like this, please subscribe, ring the bell, follow all the things so you can see all my videos. I post one every week. Now, let's dive into it. Market uncertainty. What does that even mean, uncertainty? You know that feeling when you wake up as a real estate agent and you're like, where is my next deal going to come from? That's what we call uncertainty. It means I don't know how I'm going to get paid next. And because the market has been pretty wonky is the technical term, just go with it. Wonky meaning we don't know what's coming next. It makes you feel uncertain. And that is a reason that a lot of people cannot handle being a real estate agent, because no one knows the future, and unless you have a pipeline of customers, there's a lot of uncertainty in it because it's a full commission job. Now, there are ways in real estate to make it a little bit more certain that we will talk about later, but usually the stress of waking up every day and not knowing where your next paycheck is going to be is very hard on some people. Now, I love it. Like I just know that things are going to work out. I've sold real estate for 8 years now, and there's always another deal. There's always another house. There's always another customer. Now there's things that happen, right? The uncertainty of the market is what we're really talking about. So right now, currently, are there enough houses on the market to sell? No, there's not. I've seen both sides of it. I've seen, a market where there's, more buyers than sellers. I've seen the market where there's more sellers than buyers. So I know what to do in these situations. If maybe you're newer to real estate and all you've known is multiple offers and not enough houses, then what happens if there is a slowdown? What happens if there is a shift and you have to do a price reduction and you don't even know how to do a price reduction? That's where that uncertainty comes up again. Now, do I have a magic wand where I can make more houses? No, and neither do you. So that's why when things do change, when things do shift, when the market is uncertain, it makes you think about, do I need to get a side hustle? Do I need to get a job that is certain? Yeah, maybe you do. And that's the reason why a lot of people quit real estate. A number 2 reason of why people might run off from being a real estate agent is it's competitive. And depending on where you live, it might be really, really competitive. Meaning, for instance, here's an example. I know an agent, in her neighborhood of 70 houses, there's 3 real estate agents that live in that neighborhood. So when she got the one listing that came on the market this month, it was a big deal because the other agent lived right across the street from the listing and she didn't, right? So is it competitive? Yes. I want you to always assume that when you go to a listing appointment, you are competing for that job. Now, there are things that you can do to be more competitive as a real estate agent, as far as gaining knowledge and having access to technology and having training, and there's all kinds of stuff you can do. But is it competitive? Yes. And if you're not keeping up with the things that make you the best, the newest, if you don't have constant training, constant continuing education, you're going to fall behind. So don't kid yourself. Being a real estate agent is competitive. And even if you think it's your friends and family that are going to keep you afloat, you're probably wrong, because your friends and family are probably talking to another real estate agent in addition to you. And even though you think that those are slam dunks, maybe they're not. The number 3 thing is stress and pressure. Stress? What's stress? Remember when we talked about uncertainty? That's where the stress and pressure comes from, because you've never had this happen, right? You're working with a buyer. They have a signed buyer broker agreement. And then all of a sudden, one day after you've written 4 offers for them, they decide that you're the problem and they run off. And what happened to all that time? What happened to the gas money? What happened to every Saturday for 6 weeks that you showed them houses all afternoon? It's just gone? Just gone? That's never happened to you? Sure, they signed a buyer broker agreement. Did that hold up? I don't know. Did you even have them sign it? There's so many things in real estate that you have to remember to check all the boxes to protect you as a real estate agent, and that's stressful. What about with the listing? You have a listing, you have the paperwork signed, they're going to sell, everything is great, you're ready for photo day, and right before photo day, they decide that they're not going to sell their house, their life changed. Oh my goodness. So now what? So there's a lot of you're getting ready to get ready, and sometimes you don't get ready because the client changes their mind. And then there's once you have something under contract, what about if it doesn't close on time? What about if it never closes at all? This is stressful. Number 4 is changing technology. Now tell me, do you sell real estate the same way you sold real estate when you first started? I've sold real estate for 8 years, and when I started selling real estate, I sold real estate like this. I joined a team, they had Zillow leads, and I worked the Zillow leads. I made cold calls, I called FSBOs, I called expires. I called people for hours every day. I can't tell you the last time I made hours of phone calls because that's not how I run my business anymore. I run my business with video marketing, and once I get a lead, I follow up with that lead. That's where my phone calls come from. But there's not very much cold calling in my real estate business now. Now, the technology I'm using is very different. Was I making YouTubes then? I wish I was, but I wasn't. I was on the Instagram being like, just sold. Don't you want to work with me? Them days are gone. And they sped up real quick. From then to now, 8 years, we went from very little social media. In fact, when I used to mention it to my broker, he'd tell me not to mess around with that because it was a waste of my time. And look at us now. I'm just saying technology is always changing. What about something like showing time? Are you using it? You should be. I remember having a list of houses to show, and say there was like 5 to 8 houses. I would have to figure out where we were starting, how far apart each of those houses were, and then figure out the best way to get to all those houses. Well, now with showing time, I just put all the houses in, click Smart Route, and poof, it tells me exactly where we're going first, exactly when the next showing should be. I can see when all the other showings are, so if I have to rearrange something, it's like magic. That's what technology will do for your business. And if you're not keeping up, it might not be good for you. Number 5, work-life balance. It is not a thing in real estate. What? It's not a thing for a lot of people because they don't use any leverage. Let's talk it out. When does most of real estate happen? Evenings and weekends. Why? Because most of the people buying houses are working during the day and they have time in the evenings and weekends to go see houses. So if you're mainly a buyer's agent, you're going to work most evenings and most weekends. Is that work for your actual life? I'm not sure it does work for your actual life. And that kind of gets long. It kind of gets hard. It kind of gets, am I on call all the time? Because think of this, on a Saturday, you show your houses all day, and then they're gonna pick one of those houses and wanna write an offer, and then you're gonna have to talk to them on the phone, and then you're gonna have to write up the offer, then you're gonna have to talk to the listing agent back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's gonna take up your whole weekend. No one told you this when you started real estate? I know. And then it's gonna get to the point where your family thinks, are you ever around? I didn't know this was going to be part of this. It's a real reason people get out of real estate. There's no balance. Number 6, have you sold as many houses this year as you planned on it? I'll be vulnerable with you. I haven't. And was it because the market changed? Was it because there's not enough houses on the market? Was it because where my focus wasn't on selling houses, it was on the coaching and the Instagram and all the other things? I don't know. What was it for you? Right? So where your focus goes, your energy flows. Thank you, Tony Robbins. So I encourage you, the financial investment to even get into real estate is a big one. And then you have to pay all the fees. And then are you at a brokerage that's charging you additional fees for training and desk fees? Fees, fees, fees. Everyone has to get paid. I got an email this morning that said my lockbox dues were due today. Goodness gracious. Everybody wants a piece of the pie in real estate, even if you're not selling real estate. So to stay in this game, you have to actually sell houses. And to actually sell houses, you actually have to focus on it. You actually have to have customers. So you're always chasing the next dollar. Another reason people quit. We've talked about all the reasons people would quit real estate. Let's talk about the reasons you should not. I want you to think of these things and think about if you're actually involved in all these things, and if it is something that you actually like. For instance, how about the relationships that you have? How about the people that you know because of selling real estate? Those relationships are so fulfilling. For instance, I have a group of agents, they're called the Agent Crew, and I see them twice a week. Some of them I see every morning. I have an accountability call in the morning that has to do with social media, and I see these agents, there's about depending on the day, 10 to 20 of them that hop on this call for 15 minutes every morning. I love these people. They are my actual friends in this world, and when I get to see them in real life at a conference, we pal around like the best friends that we wish we always had right where we live. Now, they're all over the country, so they're not. But think of those fulfilling relationships that we have because we're all the same kind of people, meaning we're entrepreneurs. We have a fighting spirit. We want to build our own business. We want not to be told what to do all day. That's another reason, right? As a real estate agent, you are a small business owner. You are an entrepreneur. If you can think about what you did before you sold real estate, for instance, I worked as a collector. Let me tell you how my day was. This is the reason I will never quit real estate. I remember I had to be at my desk at a certain time, and I put my headphones on. And as a debt collector, they had something called a dialer. And all day long, it would ring, and I would have to have the same conversation over and over and over. Hi, Mrs. Jones. It looks like you're 30 days past due. Were you planning on making a payment today? Oh, you weren't. Great. Well, let me tell you what happens if you don't make your payment within this many days. I had that conversation hundreds of times a day, and then it got worse. I didn't just do that in the day. They moved me to another shift, and I did that from I think it was the afternoon shift, and I got off at 9 o'clock at night. It was actually a nightmare. Now, the good part was I got really good at talking to a lot of random people on the phone, which is really good for real estate. But it was really bad because I got 2 15-minute breaks and a lunch. That's it. I was chained to that desk. In real estate, you are never chained. You are free to be you every day. I wake up in the morning, I get to decide who I want to be and how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to make money doing it. I encourage you to stay in it. Let's talk about the financial potential. When I sold 30 plus houses a year, ooh, that was amazing, right? Have you ever done that? It's so possible. You could sell 30 a year, you could say 50 a year, you could sell 100 houses a year. There is no one telling you that you can't do this thing. The potential that's out there is limitless. Is there a lot of competition? Yes. But could you outwork the competition? Yes. Could you make a little shift in your current business to be more competitive so you could be more financially secure? What about if you've thought about all the ways you could make money in real estate that you're not currently looking into right now? I make money about 3 or 4 ways, maybe even 5 ways when it comes to real estate, right? So I sell real estate commissions. I coach real estate agents, which is coaching. I also run courses on the internet, so there's more like online courses. Then I have the stocks that I get with EXP. Then I have the rev share that I get with EXP, revenue share. So there's lots of income from this one thing that I just used to do. So I want you to kind of think outside the box with real estate for other things that you could be doing. Maybe you don't like any of those ways. Maybe you want to see what staging's about. Maybe you want to, I don't know, be a lender instead of a real estate agent. There's lots of things in real estate that you could also do. Flip houses, there's so much here. Instead of just quitting, maybe you just need another thing to do that brings in income. Remember the story about being chained to a desk? That's what flexibility. That's why I love this job. It's so flexible. I get to be so independent. Again, no one is my boss. I'm a 1099 employee. If I wake up in the morning and decided I wasn't getting out of bed, who would care? I would care. My husband would probably care. My daughter would wonder what was wrong. But no one would call me on the phone and say, "Hey, are you gonna go to work? Like, what's wrong?" No one's gonna say that. And it's so flexible in that if I want to go to the beach the first week in August, I don't have to ask anyone. I'm just gonna go, which I love. Another reason you might want to consider staying in it is the constant learning and growth. Now, every day I'm around people because proximity is power, and I learn little tidbits of how I could do something different or how I could be better. Personal growth. I learn how to sell real estate better because of the people that I'm around. For instance, yesterday I was on this is great. Yesterday I was on a Zoom. I was climbing stairs at a gym. I was on a live Zoom call, and that person was teaching me about how to create a vision for your life. So he said, the steps are, you're right here, right where you are today, and then the vision of where you want to be, and then you create space between there, and you invite other people to be part of that space. Okay, what does that mean to me as a person? Well, that meant a lot to me. My brain's like, what do you mean a vision for my life? A vision for how I want my body to be, a vision for how I want my business to be, a vision for how I want my coaching business to be. That was a new thing that I had never thought of, and now it's in the brain. It was awesome. Another thing I learned yesterday, think about right when you wake up in the morning and how your brain is like sort of awake, but you're not all the way awake, and the thoughts that you think right there. So this guy on this coaching call was like, what about, instead of using that time for nothing, what about if you use it as like a hype up session? So you think things like, I am the #1 sales trainer in Virginia or the world or whatever, and I sell 100 houses a year, and whatever it is that you really want to do in this world, you say those things to your brain before you get out of bed. I tried it this morning. It actually works. Give it a go if you'd like. Constant learning. It's another part of real estate that I so much enjoy, and I hope you do too. Let's talk about the last reason I think is really important, which is job satisfaction. Do you love the feeling of closing day? Now, it's sometimes can be a little anticlimactic. I actually like offer acceptance day a little bit more as far as the energy of it, but you know what? When you hand someone the keys to a brand new house, that feels good. You know that you have changed a life. And every time you do it, it's another part of the puzzle, it's another part of the path of people that you have actually affected, people that you've changed lives. I love it. For instance, the agents that I get to touch, the agent crew. There are 100+ agents in there that I get to interact with, that I get to help, that I get to know their families, that I get to help them go from where they are to where they want to be in this world. It is so satisfying when I get a little note that says, hey, because of you, this happened, right? Or hey, because of your 5-day challenge, I now show up on video every day. Or hey, because of you, I never thought I could do this and now I do it every day. It's just so satisfying. And I hope that real estate is that way for you too. I know that in any business, in any career, there are pros and cons. There are days that you want to just give up, that you want to turn it in. But then there's other days that you have those really rewarding moments. And I want you to hold on to those. Fill your brain with the good stuff instead of the this is why I should quit. And I encourage you to stay in the game and keep fighting. My name's Liz. I'm so glad you watched this entire video. If you'd like to like and subscribe, ring the bell. I post a video every week, and I hope to see you on another one.